Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something really fascinating, a connection that spans ancient history, a recent find, and a powerful spiritual idea. It all centers around this concept of being a column.
That's right. It starts with, well, imagine actually holding a piece of the past, something pulled from the earth near a truly significant city, and finding a message carved right onto it. That's our starting point.
Okay, let's get into it. So our sources talk about this stone column found near Jerusalem. It's old, about 2,000 years old, and it seems likely it was part of maybe a public building, a place people gathered.
Exactly. And the inscription is what's really remarkable. It had a person's name and his father's name, but the detail that jumps out is the spelling of Jerusalem, the full modern Hebrew spelling, Jerusalem. Just imagine seeing that ancient script, but knowing someone young today could likely read it. It really connects the centuries.
It really does. Makes it feel incredibly present. And the sources mention the first name on it was, well, pretty common in ancient texts. You see it pop up with various figures in those early religious writings.
And the father's name. It's in Greek, which points to, a mixed cultural background. That wasn't unusual then. It kind of echoes the diverse backgrounds you read about among early followers and helpers in religious accounts.
So this column, these names, they show this cultural mixing right there near Jerusalem. And this ties into an older custom, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Back then, it was quite common for donors, people who gave money for public works or religious buildings. They often had the right to put their names on parts of the structure, on columns, for instance. It was a public acknowledgement, literally etching their identity into that important space.
Yeah, you can almost picture it, can't you? Walking into some grand temple and seeing names carved into the stone pillars, a permanent reminder of who helped make it happen. It really speaks to that deep human wish for connection, for significance beyond ourselves.
And that desire, that specific act of putting a name on a column, it finds this powerful echo and a promise, a really profound one from a prophetic text.
Right, this is where it gets really layered. The sources draw a line from that historical practice straight to a spiritual promise. It's a promise for those who overcome adversity, who remain faithful. They're promised they'll be made a column in God's own sanctuary, a permanent fixture.
And the inscriptions mentioned for the spiritual column are, well, even more significant. It's promised that God's name will be written on them, and the name of the new heavenly city, and also a new name that belongs to the one making the promise.
Okay, let's pause for just a moment here. Preciso pedir su ayuda para compartilhar esse bate-papo, deixar seu like e se inscrever para outros conteúdos. Deixe uma palavra de positividade nos comentários.
So when you think about that ancient stone column and then this incredible spiritual promise side by side, what's the connection? That old gesture, putting a name on stone, it taps into that fundamental human longing for our identity to mean something, to last, to be tied to the sacred.
And the spiritual promise takes that whole idea and elevates it, really. It's not just about helping build something. It's about becoming a foundational, stable part of God's eternal reality, a pillar.
Yes, and what's really stressed in the sources is that this participation, this role in building God's kingdom, being these pillars of truth, part of his people, it's framed entirely as a privilege, a gift. It's not something you earn on your own merits. It's only possible through grace.
That's a crucial point. So thinking practically, how can we apply this? What are the takeaways from linking the historical and the spiritual here?
Well, first, I think it encourages us to look beyond just the surface level. Understanding the history, the culture behind ancient practices, it can really shed light on spiritual truths that might otherwise feel a bit abstract or, hard to grasp.
Makes sense, like using the tangible to understand the intangible.
Exactly. And second, it prompts us to see physical examples around us, like that stone column, as potential illustrations. They can mirror deeper spiritual realities that are happening, even if unseen.
Okay. Context illustration. What's the third?
And third, perhaps most importantly, it reinforces that true significance, that sense of belonging within the divine structure, being that stable, internal part. It's presented as a gift we receive. It's not a status we achieve by striving. It comes through grace.
So we've journeyed from an actual stone column dug up from the ground, carrying names from the past, all the way to this concept of a spiritual column standing firm in eternity.
Which leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? For you, listening. What might it mean for your life to function like a column today? Stable, supportive, maybe bearing a message. How are you perhaps participating in building something that lasts, and ultimately, whose name is inscribed on you?